this video, I'll give you the highest risk, highest reward wide receivers to target in 2024 fantasy redraft leagues. I'm Jim Coventry of RotoWire. All right, let's start out with Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams. Nacua is usually a first-round pick in 12-team fantasy football leagues. That said, Nacua had 1,486 yards, 160 targets last year. If Nacua sees that level of volume, he will cash his ADP. No doubt about it. The upside is simply that. Also, the upside is that Cooper Kupp is a little less than he had been in past years. Now, the camp talk is that Kupp is leading the offense, looks healthy again. Maybe that's the case, but Kupp's over 30, and he's had an injury history. So we see with Nacua. Nacua can dominate if Cooper Kupp is not healthy. Nacua's 1,486 yards this year does not even include the 181 yards he had in the NFL playoff game. So the upside is sky high. But what are we worried about? If Cooper Kupp is healthy, there were 10 games when Kupp came back last year after being on the PUP list weeks 1 through 4. And Nacua had 200-yard games in those 10 games. He only reached 50 yards in 5 of those 10 games. That's a problem. If Cooper Kupp is healthy, and that's what Nacua is with a healthy Cooper Kupp, and you're paying a first-round pick, those are not first-round numbers. So be very careful here. So your bet on Nacua, your bet has to be, A, Matthew Stafford stays healthy, and he has had back injuries, neck injuries in the past, and he's aging, but maybe he stays fine. You're betting that Cooper Kupp stays injured or less effective, and Nacua is the clear number one. That's the upside. The downside, again, Stafford gets hurt. Kupp is 100%. Nacua could just be a good fantasy player that might return fourth-round value on a first-round pick. The next player, Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. Now, Olave has not had a great season in either of his first 2 years in the league. 5 touchdowns each year. 1,123 was his maximum yardage. Not great numbers. Now, last year, if you watch the games, Olave was often limping on the sidelines, limited, didn't look right. So he only missed one game, but he really looked limited. And the Saints offense was not doing him favors. Olave was running a lot of what we call these go routes straight down the field. Well, the offensive line was a big problem. Derek Carr is one of the most hypersensitive to pressure quarterbacks in the league. What's going to change this year? Clint Kubiak comes in. The line's still going to be a mess, but Clint Kubiak used a lot of play action. And what Clint Kubiak does is he utilizes that X alpha receiver. He uses them on more slant routes, more underneath stuff, occasionally over the top, but it's not the steady dieted downfield. And this offensive system, which Clint Kubiak's dad, Gary Kubiak, has used for a long time as well, this does feed alpha receivers. And don't forget, Derek Carr, 2 years ago, worked with Devontae Adams for a 1,500-yard season. So it is squarely on the table that Olave can have the highest level production with Derek Carr. The downside, it's Derek Carr again, though. If this system doesn't take, if this system is not getting Carr any time at all, if defenses are jamming up Olave and making Carr get nervous, it is a concern. The upside is way beyond what we've seen from Chris Olave in his first 2 seasons. But again, the downside could be similar seasons to what we've had, and it has not been great. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the RotoWire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings by getting a free 2-day trial with no credit card needed. Just head on over to rotowire.com/Jim. You can check out all of our content. All right, Nico Collins is next, Houston Texans. The downside, injuries. Collins has missed time each year in the league. 2022, he missed 7 games. Normally, it's about 3 games per season, but that is something. Every player seems to be missing some time, but Collins is missing a little more than most. So that's really where the downside is. Also, it's possible Stephon Diggs in the mix. We got Tank Dell. If all 3 receivers stay healthy, Collins had 109 targets last year. Good number, 14 games. But if the targets stay the same or go a little bit lower, that can be problematic for a player who's getting drafted pretty high in drafts. The upside, 1,297 yards last season. Incredible. Nico Collins is a perfect fit for Bobby Slowick's offense. They get the schemed up plays, a lot of diagonals right off the line of scrimmage. Collins is a beast with the ball in his hands. Very fast, very strong, very big man. Also, those over-the-top routes, he's outstanding at those as well. The team paid him for a long-term contract. The Texans understand this is C.J. Stroud's guy long-term. And Tank Dell's great too. But Nico Collins, if he continues to be the lead receiver in this offense, and this offense could be getting better this year, the upside is that Collins at least matches last year's 1,297 yards, maybe a little more. But at his ADP, that is definitely a value. The last risk-reward player, T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, look, we have not seen a season in 4 years where he's had more than 1,110 yards, more than 111 targets, or more than 8 touchdowns. He's not had a monster season yet, but we love the talent. We think a whole lot of T. Higgins. He hasn't done it yet. And durability has been an issue. He did play 16 games in 2022, but in 2 of those games, he had goose eggs because of pregame injuries. And then last year, missed 5 games. 2021, he missed 3 games. Durability is a big problem for T. Higgins. So the downside is misses time, continues to underwhelm. He's the clear number 2 to Jamar Chase. Maybe Burrow doesn't throw the ball to him a lot some weeks and a lot of weeks. But the upside, Higgins is playing for a future big contract. Motivation could mean something. Also, this offense probably going to have to score a lot of points. The defense was bad last year. They also lost DJ Reader on defense. He's their best run stopper. He collapses the pocket from the inside. That defense was bad, and it's probably not getting better. So the Bengals may have to score a lot of points. In that case, if they have to throw a lot, and if T. Higgins stays healthy, and if Burrow has to spread the ball a little more than they'd like, T. Higgins could have that career season. But instead, in past years of getting him around wide receiver 15, well, you're now getting him closer, wide receiver 28, wide receiver 30. So T. Higgins is now affordable, but he does have upside to go with that downside.